All right, boys, welcome back to another YouTube video. You guys clicked on this video because you want to learn about a new freelance brand scaling method that is untapped and it is called lead gen. So, what specifically is lead gen? So, this is going to be a full on video, a full course explaining what lead gen is, kind of like the overview of everything. And then we'll dive into the ads manager, show you guys how to set up your first lead gen campaign, and then obviously how to scale and do all that good stuff afterwards. So, freelance brand scaling, the unsaturated way, lead gen. Basically, you're targeting local service businesses. So, right here, you guys can actually see one of my campaigns. It is a high performing campaign. As you guys can see here, we've spent around $1,200 in ad spend to generate 120 leads. This is for one of my car detailing clients. And each lead in particular is a highly qualified lead. And the jobs minimum that can come from these leads is worth $185. So if you do $185 multiplied by 120, that's kind of how much this client is receiving in terms of value to their business. So lead gen is very, um, a lot. It's very producing. It can produce a lot of money very quickly. So let's jump straight into this. Um, but before we even start off with the actual overview, you guys need to understand who I am. So, for those who don't know me, my name is Elmer. I'm 17 years old. I personally generate around $12,000 a month with my digital marketing agencies and my window cleaning company as well. And as of recently, I'm just beginning to kind of now coach people on how to do exactly what I do. Link in my bio or look down if in the description of the video. But basically, yeah, I've transitioned from my home service based business to freelance brand scaling in the beginning of this year. I've documented my journey since day one, and I'm pretty much an open book. I mean, you guys can go down to my first ever YouTube video. I believe it's my third ever video that I have uploaded, my day one video of when I started freelance brand scaling. And you guys can kind of see the progression of my results and my experience and how everything has been going so far. And I'm really just a perfect example of what could happen if you generally put your head down for a couple months and locked in. And yeah, so that's exactly where I came from. As you guys can see here, this is me washing a window. Here's my truck, and here's my enclosed trailer, and all that fun stuff. But let's oh yeah, so if you guys are interested in learning how to do freelance brand scaling specifically for lead gen or really just e-commerce or anything in general, I have an inner circle. It's down in the description of this video. You guys can go and join that. It's pretty inexpensive. It only costs $10 to join. And if you guys join in there, I do daily coaching calls every single day. I have giveaways. I bring on special guest speakers. As of recently, we just did a lab marathon where we had a lot of the top dogs that are in the freelance brand scaling niche. So we've done Harley, Raspy, by Lalomir. We've done Jaden Sanders and a whole bunch of other guys as well. So go in the description. You guys can join my inner circle right now, and I'll teach you guys literally everything I know. It's the closest thing that I have to a mentorship. And yeah, so let's jump straight into this. So, who is this video for? So, this video is for brand scalers who don't generate at least $10,000 a month passively, all right, guaranteed. Or simply people that don't have thousands of dollars to simply just drop it on a course, drop it on a program. That's why this video is free, all right? So, you've definitely seen top dogs like Brez, Harley, and Raspy mainly targeting clothing brands as their main client audience. But I mean, if you tried it already, sending DMs and just general outreach, you can understand how competitive it is for clothing brands, and how hard it might be to sign your first few clients, whether these guys are just not responding to your DMs. These guys are just basically dodging you, not wanting to answer, not wanting to work with you, and all that stuff. But that's why I made this video because I want to show you guys a completely unsaturated way um, for freelance brand scaling called lead gen. All right, lead generation. Where basically you're just going to target local service-based businesses that actually make large amount of money organically per month. Unlike these small shitty e-com stores that really don't have the money to be paying you retainers off the bat. And even when you do run their ads for them, they're just not profitable. So this is a very good place to start. Offline businesses get your foot in the door, understand how to run ads. If you've never ran ads, this is literally perfect for you. And if you already do freelance brand scaling and you have a lot of clients under your belt already, but you don't do any type of lead gen, this is going to be the perfect video for you. So if it sounds intriguing to you, drop a like, subscribe, and most importantly, comment down below what other videos you guys want to see. And yeah, let's jump straight into this. So how to actually set up with lead gen. So the first step that you guys are going to need to do is pick a niche. So some of the common niches that I personally love to work with is car detailing, landscaping, roofing companies, pretty much anything that's locally service based. Usually home service based businesses are kind of the top tier, just because they're a lot more easier to work with. Usually the companies that require like get quote, call to action and stuff like that. So that's what I recommend. Pick a niche, study it, and then go outreach to that specific niche. Now, the second thing is actually understanding what lead gen is, and how it kind of differentiates between, leads campaigns and just regular sales campaigns. So basically, lead generation itself is, for an example, let's say a power washing company, right? You're going to be running ads for a power washing company through a leads based campaign on Meta. So, what that means is that basically it's just contact information. You're stacking up names, you're stacking up phone numbers, property addresses, emails, all that stuff, right? It's not like you can just give a landscaper a Shopify website and they can just purchase their lawn to be cleaned or to be trimmed down or whatever, right? It doesn't make sense. So basically, that's kind of your job is to generate leads. And that's for local service-based businesses. So some of the tools that I actually use mainly are the Meta Ads Manager, of course, ChatGPT, Go High Level, Canva, Stripe, and Apollo.ai. Obviously, with the Meta Ads Manager, that's where you're going to be running the majority of your ads. You can also dive into Google Ads if that's kind of your niche. You can also do ChatGPT for a lot of things, mainly copywriting, logo creation, and just general concept and ideas. Go High Level is pretty much a huge software where you can do websites, just you can do everything on Go High Level. All right. It's kind of expensive though to start into it, but obviously, once you get some clients on your belt, they can easily afford it for you, and then you'll be good to go. Canva, this is where we're going to be creating a lot of the creatives itself. So a lot of the images, a lot of the graphic design work will be inside of Canva. Stripe is just one of the many payment processors that you guys can use for lead gen. In particular, the best by far is going to be bank wire transfers. These are usually for larger amounts. Basically, you need to get like the routing number and account number and all that stuff, and then these guys can just send you directly a payment directly into your bank account, and you're chilling. And then Apollo.ai, it's a lead scraping software where you guys can generate or actually get a lot of leads, so that way you can contact businesses, so that way you can actually go ahead and get them as a client. So those are the basics right there. But now let's actually focus on specifically outreach, right? So outreach is always going to be, one of the most time consuming and frustrating things within this business model. However, your success rate with closing a client, I personally believe, is 3 times a lot more easier with lead gen in comparison to e-com or just any type of other niche. If it's clothing brands, if it's some type of online product on a Shopify store, it's a lot easier to close people with lead gen. All right. Now, the thing with lead gen itself, it's been around for a while, okay? Marketing agencies, at least the big ones, have been around for a while, and these guys are getting their phones blown up every single day, the same way how clothing brands are getting their Instagram DMs spammed every single day. But if you there's ways to stick out with this, and these guys, like I said, these guys have money. These guys are actually generating money organically, offline, right, in the real world. So they're able to actually invest into your service, no problem. So that's kind of outreach. So with outreach and tip and so with outreach in particular, there's different methods. So the first one, and it actually is going to be the most prominent method, is cold calling. So if you don't know what cold calling is, it's simply you finding the business phone number and just calling it out of the blue and just being like, hey, yada, 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 here's what I can do for you, and all that stuff, right? It's cold. They're not expecting the phone call. And I have some pointers here that you guys can actually use. So the first one is when you start off with your initial pitch, never say, how are you? You know, you never want to pick up the phone, call someone and be like, hey, man, how are you? Don't say that. People know like you're a complete stranger. If they knew who you were, if they knew whatever, they would see the name, but it doesn't say that, right? And honestly, when you get a random phone number calling you and they say, how are you? You already know that they're going to try to sell you something. So, very important. Never say, how are you? Instead, you can actually say something like this. Hi, am I speaking to the owner of the business name? And they'd be like, yeah, this is. And I'd be like, awesome. My name is Elmer. Look, I'll be completely honest with you. This is a cold call. So I do have something to pitch your business. Do you want to hang up now or let me have 20 seconds and then you can decide? Your call. So I want to break this down to you guys a little bit here with the cold call in particular. You're kind of this is called a pattern interrupt, okay? By you saying, "Hey, look, this is a completely cold call. You were not expecting this call. Like, I'm 100% a stranger. We both know that. Um, you can hang up right now if you want to. You don't have to speak to me. This is a pattern interrupt. People are not expecting this because usually it's kind of like, "Hi, my name is Elmer and I work with blah 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 agency and I notice your website is." No one cares about that. All right. You need to just distinguish yourself the same way you would distinguish yourself from Instagram DMs and all that fun stuff. The same thing you need to do here when you're cold calling. But yeah, this is a pretty good beginning initial pitch. I also have this as well. Basically kind of showing you guys here other things that you guys can say. So you guys can feel free to screenshot it, take a picture of it, whatever you got to do, and use this to your advantage when you guys are cold calling. But yeah, so that's cold calling. And now we have emails. So the thing with emails, especially with these local service-based businesses, these guys get a lot of emails all the time, especially if their email is on their website that they have already. Um, I cooked up this template right here. This is literally off of ChatGPT. I'm no copywriter, okay, so don't flame me. I just had to put it in there for the video. But to be honest with you, man, it's a very simple, straightforward. It's an email. Ask AI to cook you something, tweak it a little bit, and then just start sending it over to all these business guys. And you should be good to go, right? It's not rocket science. And then another approach is networking. Okay. Networking is huge. So, with networking in particular, you can get your first lead gen clients if you sign a friend or a family member that already owns a business. So, position yourself where these business owners are going to be at. All right. So, an example of that is Discords, Facebook groups, Reddits, and even IRL events. All right. So position yourself where these guys are going to be at. Car detailers are probably going to be in car detailing Discords. Window cleaners are probably going to be in Facebook groups called window cleaning or whatever. And like I said earlier, it's a lot better if they're a friend or family member because you can just be like, hey, look, I'm starting my new thing here, my new business. I'm becoming a digital marketer and all this good stuff. Can I be your first? Can you be my first client? Like you can be straight up with them, right? And then you'll be like more likely to actually sign these clients. So remember that. Don't look what's all the way in front of you and across the city and all this stuff. Look in your backyard. Okay, that's a really good analogy to think of. Look in your backyard, look at your friends, look at your family members, and that's kind of how you're gonna be able to sign your first few clients. And if you mess up, you mess up. That's totally fine. All right, it's gonna happen, but at least you have it with someone that already knows and trusts you, right? You're not just some complete stranger. Okay, so networking. And then the last one is actually walk-ins because these are offline businesses and you are able to most likely walk into the establishments if they are a type of storefront like this one that's retail and all that stuff. With walk-ins in particular, you're gonna have to grow a pair of balls, walk into these storefronts, ask for a manager, and bypass the gatekeeper. So if you don't know what a gatekeeper is, it's basically it's a sales term for people that are basically guarding. You consider this like people like front desk ladies. That's a gatekeeper right there, right? There's someone that's in front of the owner of the manager. So you need to maneuver your way around the gatekeeper and speak to the right person where you can run these ads, you can do a new website, logo, all that marketing stuff. Okay. And when you go to these walk-ins, it's gonna be very difficult. I don't highly recommend doing walk-ins as an outreach method, but it's definitely possible. And really, when you go in there, your main task is to actually generate or get a lot of contact information as much as possible. So that way you can actually book a meeting and close them, and then you can do the onboarding process. So, out of all four of these, I personally recommend going with the cold calling. And then, secondly, the networking is huge. And then you can do email or walk in. Those are pretty much like, I don't know. They don't really generate that much in terms of leads, I can say. But anyways, besides the point, now you need to jump into your offer. All right. So in your offer, this is going to be in the sales meeting. So let's break down the process, right? So let's say you know exactly the services you want to offer. If you want to run paid ads, if you want to run a website, if you want to do a new logo, whatever it is, the first thing you want to do, for example, say you cold call the business, you jump on the phone with them, you talk to them for maybe 5 to 10 minutes on a cold call. It should never, 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 never be longer than that. And be like, yeah, man, look, maybe how about next week on Tuesday? Are you available at 5 p.m.? We can jump on a meeting and I'll explain everything more in depth for you. Yeah, let's do that. Boom, you book them in. Now you get to this part, the sales meeting. So this is the offer. So you need to develop a no-brainer offer, okay? A no-brainer offer. This is from Alex Hormozy. Look him up, watch some videos on him. He's a great, 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 great sales coach. And basically what a no-brainer offer is just something where it's a no-brainer. Like you feel like you need to buy into this product or service that someone is selling to you. So some examples that I have here is actually running their ads for them for completely free for 30 days. All right. They still pay for the ad spend. When I say for completely free, that means they don't have to pay you anything. They don't have to pay you a percentage. They don't have to pay you a retainer. None of that. Okay. They still cover the ad spend, but they keep basically 100% of the profits. Another example is making them a website for free. You can use Hostinger as a web hosting platform. I have a video, if you guys go to my channel, of a complete tutorial of how to use Hostinger. And you can also use Go High Level. Go High Level is a little bit more advanced, but there's a lot of value in that program. So you guys can definitely use that as well. And make them up a website, make them a free landing page, something where they can be like, yeah, man, I definitely want to move forward with this. I want to check it out. Boom, closed, right? And then the third one is actually making the creatives for the ads that you'll be running in the ads manager entirely in-house. So what that means in-house means that you are the ones that are actually creating the creative. So you can pop into Canva, you can create a before and after picture, and you can create those, add them into the campaign, and you're good to go. You know it's going to convert well because you created it. And maybe at most what you would ask from the client is to send you pictures. Maybe if it's, for example, a power washing company or a car detailing business, you can be like, hey man, can you just send me some before and after pictures and I'll put them into an actual ad, an actual creative. And then you put it into Canva or Photoshop, Adobe, whatever it is. Boom, you have your creative, upload it, you're chilling, right? So as long as you stick out, you'll be good. So stick out with a no-brainer offer. All right. And that's the whole point of a sales meeting. Now, the other thing is pricing, right? So how are you going to get paid? Now, there's two options: pay per lead or a flat monthly retainer. I personally recommend to go with a retainer because if you go per lead and the lead doesn't close, these guys are gonna hate you. All right, they're not gonna like you. They're not gonna want to do business with you anymore. They're gonna fire you. So safer and guaranteed money coming in if you go with a flat monthly retainer. So some examples of this is, let's say $100 to $500 for web hosting and management. By the way, when I'm saying these amount of money, I'm talking about monthly, okay? $100 to $500 a month per month for web hosting and management. Or, maybe $500 to $2,000 for ads management or a 10% revenue split. Okay. And another one is maybe $200 to $1,000 for social media page management, right? You're building their organic following. So whatever makes sense for you and more importantly for the business, and it fits their budget and it works good and they can afford it and all that stuff, right? You're not going to be charging $2,000 a month to this business is, making less than that, right? Use your brain, okay? And then in terms of how to actually receive the payment, Stripe is one of the biggest, most popular ways to do it. Um, to send payment links and to send invoices, reoccurring stuff. And there's a lot. I'm mean, completely honest with you guys. There's a lot of payment processors out there. They all work. They all do the same thing. Some of them are worse than others. It's your job to figure it out. Me personally, I take pretty much everything. I take Apple Pay, PayPal, Stripe, WAP. There's a ton of different things that I use. Okay. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is better than the other. And no, all right. You figure it out and also figure out what works best for your client. But like I said earlier in the video, the best payment method is going to be bank wire transfers. Okay. And another thing that I actually didn't mention earlier is contracts. So definitely get your clients on a contract. You guys can use Square. I believe the domain is like squareup.com or whatever. Use Square. And you guys can build your contracts out there and basically kind of outline everything. And it's mostly not, I wouldn't say it's more like a legally binding contract. I would say that think of it more of like an agreement, okay? Basically outlining responsibilities between you as the marketer and your client as the business, okay? They have responsibilities as much as you have responsibilities. For example, you're in charge of running their paid ads for them, generating them more leads, generating them more business. These guys, your clients, have a responsibility of, keeping you informed of what's happening within the business. They have responsibilities of calling all of the leads that you're generating, right? And just a ton of other stuff. Okay, so that's kind of what I like to think about. Instead of thinking about contracts, think about contracts as more so agreements. Okay. Now the next thing is going to be how to actually scale your agency and the client retention, how to keep your clients long term, right? Because that's where the true money starts rolling in. So, to keep your clients, it's very simple. Keep your clients updated. Okay, you can send them weekly or bi-weekly reports of how everything is going. And also get their input, ask them questions, and most importantly, answer those questions. And also you can ask referrals. Ask for referrals. Let them know about, maybe you can be like, hey man, like hopefully you've been enjoying everything. Well, no, okay, speak more confident than that. Be like, yeah, man, look, is there any other businesses or if you know anybody else that owns a couple businesses in your niche or anything like that, that maybe I could run some ads for them as well. Blah 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 blah. Put a good word in for me, and you can go through that. And then also testimonials, man. Like having a short video or anything similar of them just basically glazing you, saying that you're amazing, that you did very well with the ads and yada 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 whatever. You can use that for so many things. Like you can add that onto your website. You guys can add that as an actual creative, as an ad for your agency to get more clients. There's a lot of things that you can do. And also reinvest your money. Don't blow it on stupid shit. Okay. If you sign a client in lead gen, it's a big retainer per month. Just like reinvest that money, bro. Use that money to scale. Hire more workers. You know what I mean? Hire cold callers, appointment setters, media buyers, pretty much anything where you can delegate more work to other people. So that way you don't have to do everything at once. You know what I mean? And just be smart with your money that you're making. And most importantly, as well, and I'm going to zoom in on this so you guys can remember this and it drills into your brain throughout this entire process. It doesn't matter what you're doing, keep your relationship with your clients as frictionless as possible. Okay. Keep it very simple. You don't want these guys to feel so, up the wall and just stressed out and they don't know what's happening and you're not communicating with them. And no, no, no. It should be as frictionless as possible. Since onboarding them is a little bit of a pain in the butt sometimes. Sometimes it's very easy, but we all know Meta can be a little bit weird sometimes. But keeping that relationship that you have with your client as frictionless as possible, they're going to love that. They're going to enjoy that. And the whole reason why a client is hiring you to basically partner up with you within their business as a marketer is so that way they can, be stress free. They can do the jobs. These guys, if they're car detailers, they can go out there and wash cars. Okay. They don't have to worry about getting more clients. They don't have to worry about social media. They don't have to worry about ads. That's all your responsibility, right? You're alleviating that stress off of their shoulders. So keep your relationship with your clients as frictionless as possible. Now, to be completely honest with you guys, that is pretty much everything within the overview. Understanding the foundation of lead gen within freelance brand scaling. So now it's actually time to learn how to actually run these lead gen ads, okay, on Facebook. You're going to be running mostly on Facebook. You can run on Instagram as well, but a majority of the leads that I've personally ran before for my clients, they've just performed a lot better on Facebook, specifically only Facebook. And but you guys can also have the option to run Facebook and Instagram and just kind of split test everything there. But yeah, I mean, I do have some tips for you guys before we actually jump into the ads manager. The first one is going to be um targeting. Who are you targeting specifically, right? These are local service-based businesses. So it's only going to be in a specific area on, in the state or whatever it is, right? So depending on how far your client will travel, usually a 10 to 50-mile radius. I like to begin with a 15-mile radius. So for example, if I'm going to run an ad for a business that is in Dallas, Texas, right? I'm gonna put in for the targeting within the ads manager, which I'll show you guys in a second when we jump in there. I'm gonna put in Dallas as a city plus a 15-mile radius. So now I'm targeting the entire city of Dallas plus a 15-mile radius. If you don't know what a radius is and you forget about stuff from school like I do, it's a circle. Okay. So Dallas is like this. And then when you add the plus 15-mile radius, it goes into something like this. It's a lot bigger, right? So more clients, more possibilities of closing jobs, all that good stuff. Now, the minimum budget that you're going to be running ads for lead gen is $20 a day. $20 a day. And I would say $20 a day in the campaign with, we can say, one ad set with three, we'll say 2 to 4 creatives. Okay. You don't want to spread your budget too thin. $20 is literally nothing. So I would say 2 to 4 creatives within that $20 a day budget within that campaign, one ad set. All right. If that sounded like a lot of stuff and you know what I mean, bro, this video is a little bit more advanced for a little bit more people that they're already kind of into freelance brand scaling. But don't stress about anything. In the description of the video, I have my inner circle. You guys can join that. And I'll teach you guys literally everything I'm talking about right now as if it's, you know, baby language. Okay. But anyways, back to the topics, right? So $20 a day is the absolute minimum. Then you can start scaling to $50, and then $100 is a pretty good way to stay at. Um, and the actual ad types are static images. So, for example, a before and after ad, creative, whatever you want to say. Reels, so videos, of course, and then UGC, which is user generated content, a voiceover, someone talking in the video, stuff like that. And then just make sure that when you're generating leads, you need to have a strong offer, okay? In the actual like ad itself, it should be a strong offer. And an incentive as well for someone to put in their contact information, right? People are just not going to people are just not going to give their emails and their names and their addresses and their phone numbers just because you told them to, right? They need to have some type of incentivization to do that. Okay? So, enough yapping. Let's actually jump into the ads manager and I'll break down exactly how to build your first campaign, an example of a winning campaign, and yeah, so let's jump straight into that right now. All right, so we're here in the ads manager, okay? Very simple. I'm going to show you guys how to actually onboard a client in their ads manager. So the first thing that they need to do is obviously they need to have a business portfolio. Watch a video on it. I'm not going to sit here and explain it to you. Video is a little bit more for advanced people. But obviously you want to be in the business settings of your business portfolio. I need to verify something, so 1 second. All right, so how to actually onboard a client for lead gen, all right, in the ads manager. So the first thing that we're going to be inside of is the business portfolio. So after you created the business portfolio or your client already did that, they'll be click right here on the business settings and you'll be right here. So very simple what's going to happen, okay? You're going to click right here on the top right, invite people, okay? Click on invite people. And my mouse isn't showing, but you guys understand what's going to happen. You're going to type in here your email address. So type in here a random email, it doesn't matter. Well, it's going to be your email, no shit. Boom. You click next. You're gonna click on full control everything. Okay. And next. Don't worry about the assets. You can skip that because you haven't created that yet. And then you can just select, obviously, send invitation. Boom, you'll get in your email and you accept it. And now you're inside here. Okay. You have access. Now, the second thing you need to do, go to pages, right? Click on pages. You're going to click add. And here you have a couple options. Either you can add an existing Facebook page that they already have, or you can create a new Facebook page. So let's pretend this person doesn't have a Facebook page yet, or they forgot their login or whatever it is. You go here, create a new Facebook page, type in the name of the business, something, something, something detailing, category, bio, confirm, done, follow through, you're good, right? It's not rocket science. Then after the pages, click on add accounts. They're not going to have an ad account yet unless they already ran ads. And if they do, you're chilling, you skip this step. But if they don't have an ad account yet, which they probably don't, click right here on add, top right, create a new ad account, type in the name, fill in the blanks, and you're good, right? And then the last thing, Instagram account. This is not mandatory if you're only gonna be running on Facebook. If they do have an Instagram account, I highly recommend you guys to add it. So they will click on add, not you, the client will click on add, and then it's gonna tell them to log in, put their email, phone number, whatever it is, and it should show up here, and you're good to go. All right. Very, very simple. Okay. Very simple. That's all you need to do. Once you did all this stuff in the business settings, you're going to click right here on the ads manager. All right. Click on campaigns. Now that you're in campaigns, welcome. This is where you're going to be making a lot of money. Okay. So this is where you're going to actually be generating leads, building campaigns, and all that fun stuff. So let me actually show you guys how to create your first lead gen campaign. And then I'll actually show you guys one of my top performing campaigns that I have here. Okay. So first thing you need to do to create a first ever lead gen campaign is click on this green button right here, top left, create. And then you're going to select on leads. Okay. Click on continue. And then you're going to be here in the, in the campaign level. So think about this as like a burger. Okay. This is the bun on the top. All right. Look at the top left. All right. The bun on the top is the campaign level. The ad set is the second level. This is like the burger. I'm not the burger. This is like the beef, the patty. And the last one, you can just say it's another what's it called? A bun. I don't know. Sorry. Anyways, campaign level, right? So you can put in here in the campaign name. It doesn't matter. Put your name in here. Say what the CTA is. We can say leads. And then you can say like a mile radius or whatever. It doesn't really matter what you name it. Whatever it is, put it in there. Ignore all of this stuff, okay? Until you're here into the budget. Now, if you only have one ad set, automatically Meta is just gonna say it's a campaign budget, which it makes sense. If you have multiple ad sets, which you can easily do here if you click on this action menu in the top left, and then you click on duplicate, and you'll have multiple ad sets. But for the sake of this video, you don't need multiple ad sets. If you're just running 20 bucks a day, you're good with just one ad set. So basically, in the campaign level, just keep it as campaign budget. And then right here, you put in your budget, you'll put in $20 a day. And here in the campaign bid strategy, just keep it at the highest volume, get the most results for your budget, and you're good. That's all you need to do in the campaign level. All right. Pretty freaking easy. Next, bottom right, click on next. Now you're in the ad set level, right? The ad set name doesn't really matter. For the sake of this video, I'm going to show you guys the best way to generate leads is through instant forms. All right. I'm going to show you guys what that is right now. So, I'm probably going to name this instant form just so I recognize it. So this is the conversion location. This is what's going to happen when someone clicks on the ad. So you have all of these options, okay? You can make it so people go to the website. Make it so people go to an instant form. They fill out their contact information. Messenger, basically like a fake Instagram DM or whatever, right? Calls. You can make people call after they click on the ad. So you pick what you want to do. For the sake of this video, we're going to do instant forms, okay? And so select instant forms. Scroll down, make sure that the Facebook page is connected, the one that you've chosen. And then the performance goal, you want it to be maximum number of, well, this depends, okay? Either you want to go with maximum number of leads or maximum number of conversion leads. It doesn't really matter which one you pick with. Obviously, this one, the maximum number of leads, you're going to get more leads generated. And it's going to be pretty broad. At default, it's selected to be conversion leads. Doesn't matter which one you choose. For the sake of this video, we're just gonna check. We're just gonna pick conversion leads. All right. If it shits the bed, we switch it over to normal. All right. But we're gonna go with conversion leads because these people are just gonna convert a lot better. And you're just gonna let Meta do its thing. Okay. Let Meta do its thing. If they do, your client has a CRM software, you're able to connect it right here. Okay. For the sake of this video, to keep everything simple, we're not going to touch into that yet. All right. So ignore it. Ignore everything else here. You can't have dynamic creative. This is a little bit more of an advanced feature. I won't explain it in this video, but drop a comment down below and maybe in the future I'll let you know what it's all about. But anyways, so here at set we have the budget and schedule. Okay, so here you're gonna select the start date of your campaign. Okay. Let's say, for example, I want to start my campaign on Tuesday the 13th. I clicked right here, boom. And then the time, I always select 12 a.m. as a starting time, okay? Because Facebook ads operates on an auction-based system that is on a full 24-hour schedule, okay? So it makes sense to start off at the beginning of that 24 hours. So that way your ads can be running throughout the entire day. And don't fucking bullshit me saying, oh, Elmer, if, I'm going to start them in at 8 in the morning because people are sleeping at midnight or whatever. Dude, I've generated a lot of leads from people filling out forms at like 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning. So I don't know. It's weird, okay? But it works. So put 12 a.m. as a starting time, and the starting date can be whatever it is realistically for your client. Ignore the end date. You don't need to worry about that because these guys are just going to keep running and running and running, and then you're going to have the responsibility to make sure that they're running, and they're running very proactively, and then you can be able to turn them off. And yeah. So anyways, audience, ignore this except for right here, the locations. So right here, it's set to United States right now. We're not going to be targeting the entire country right now. We're going to be targeting a specific city because it's local service based. So, for example, like I said earlier in the video, the business is a landscaping business and they operate in Dallas, Texas. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to type in Dallas, Texas, United States city right here. Boom, select it. Bam. Now it's Dallas, Texas. Well, I like to start off at minimum plus 15-mile radius. Okay. And you guys can actually talk to your client and be like, hey, I'm going to target this specific city that you're based in. What should be the extra mile radius that I should add? Right? They should know how far they want to drive and all that fun stuff. Usually a plus 15-mile radius is the best beginning spot. So I would just add that in there. So yeah, now we're targeting Dallas, Texas, plus a 15-mile radius. So all of these areas right here, you guys can see, we're going to be targeting. And everybody that's in the circle are going to be seeing all of the ads. Okay. Very simple. Cool. Done. Awesome. Ignore the audience, these custom things. You don't need to worry about that right now in the beginning. And then these are the placements. So this is actually very important. So click right here on the show more settings. The device and operating systems, keep it on all, but the platforms, look on the little pencil right here, click edit. And here you can actually select where you want your ad to actually show. So for local service-based businesses, especially instant forms and all that good stuff, what I've personally found best is that only having Facebook selected is your best bet. Okay? Only having Facebook selected. You can run Facebook and Instagram, do a split test, 30-day period, and see which platform is performing a lot better. But I recommend you guys to just go with just Facebook, and you're chilling. You're good. Don't worry about it. Okay. That's all you're gonna need. That's all we need to touch in this and ad set level. All right. So then now you can click on next, and now you're actually in the actual ad, the actual what we call the creative. So you can name it whatever you want to do. Let's say it's a before and after picture. I don't know. Boom. Page is connected. And now you click right here. So it should be on create an ad. If they have an existing post already, you can use that as the actual ad itself. But in the sake of this video, we're going to do create an ad. Single image or video, we're going to go with single image. Carousel is like the swiping thing. So it totally depends up to you. I like to do single image to start off. Multi-advertiser ads, I like to turn it off. And then here we go. So now we're going to do the instant form. So the instant form in particular, I'm going to show you guys the instant form that I'm using. Well, actually, let's create a new form. So we'll click right here on create a form. So the form name will say, I don't know, we'll say in the video. Well, I'm going to delete this later. So we'll say YouTube video, YouTube vid. Whoa. All right, I don't know. Form name, give it a form name, okay? The form type, you're going to want it to be selected on more volume, okay? Click on next. You can add a background image if you want, maybe the logo or something looking cool in the background. You would just click right here, upload image, you're good. And then the greeting, you can have a greeting. I personally suggest to have a greeting. Here in the headline, we can say, I don't know, get your free quote in 2 minutes, or get your free car detailing quote in 2 minutes. Boom. And description will be like, answer a few questions, and we'll reach out to you. Or I don't know, some shit. I'll show you guys a better example. This is just off the top of my head. But yeah. Anyways, have that. This is what it looks like in the beginning. This is the intro. As you guys can see here, you guys can select, you guys can look at what the form actually looks like right here in the preview section. But yeah, so that's the beginning. Click on next. And now here's the actual questions. So they have a lot of AI stuff that you guys can use in here, but we're just going to create our own questions. So if this is a car detailing client, click right here on add question. We're going to do multiple choice. I highly suggest you guys use multiple choice. And say the first question is going to be, I don't know, what services are you interested in? And now the answers, you'll be like, I don't know, interior, exterior. We'll add another question here with a plus. Ceramic coating. I don't know. Depends. Whatever services your client is offering. I would only do 4 options in the multiple choice just so it doesn't look like a freaking huge form. Just 4. Keep it simple. Okay. Maximum 4 in the questions. Looks like this. So you guys can see they'll be able to select it on their phone or whatever they're looking at. And they'll be good to go. All right. Next will be the contact information. You just scroll down a little bit. You'll have here. And basically what you want to do, what I like to do actually, is put the name to be first. So name, and then the email, click on the add category, name, email, and then the phone number. And then lastly, the street address. If it is like a power washing company, for example, you need to go to the address. If it's a car detailing company, you don't need to worry about adding the address. Okay, that's kind of weird, right? But most of the time, you're going to be needing at least the name, the email, and the phone number. The phone number is going to be the most important because that's how your client is going to be reaching out to this prospect, this lead, to book them in, get them in for a job, and all that fun stuff. Okay, so name, email, phone number. And you click on next. You have your privacy policy here. It's gonna force you to do this. I think they need to force you to do this. Oh no, maybe not. Don't worry about the privacy policy. You can just turn it off. Cool. Next. And in the ending, you can just keep it as it is. Thanks, you're all set. I like to add in the description, um, you know, will reach out to you as soon as possible. Yada yada, whatever, whatever. You get the idea. And you don't have to worry about anything else. And then boom, you click on create a form, and that's it. You have your form and make sure it's selected right here. And boom, now your form is actually integrated into your ad. Wow, amazing, cool, sick. Next, scroll down. Now this is where you actually put the actual ad itself. So you click right here on setup creative. Let's just do, for example, you can select image or video. We're gonna do image in this for this example. So we'll be right here, an image, and I don't know. Let's pretend this is a random image, right? We'll put the logo in here. Um, I would turn off flexible media, and you have three options here: the square, the vertical, and the horizontal. Um, these are all pretty much locked in right now, so don't have to worry about anything. But really, you want to go for the format that it's asking you to do. But once you have it in here, click on next, and then the primary text, the headline, and the description. These are all three different things. This is where AI is going to help you, okay? Literally go into ChatGPT and tell it to give you a primary text, give you a headline, and give you a description, okay? So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to put into ChatGPT, I'm going to say, I'm making a car detailing ad on Facebook. Give me a headline, a description, and a primary text. Boom. It spits it out for you. Super easy. Now, is it perfect? Absolutely not. Okay. These emojis gotta go. All right. You can keep a couple of them, but minimize them. All right. But for the sake of this video, we're just gonna use what it gave us. So headline, I'll put it into here. Headline. Boom. Description, copy and paste it in there. Boom. And then the primary text, copy and paste it. Boom. You're good. You're ready. All right. Now, the CTA is going to be 9 out of 10 times, it's going to be get quote. Okay. Get quote for instant forms, right? Because you need a quote for car detailing, you need a quote for landscaping, you need a quote for power washing. Get quote. All right. If it's a different type of business, if it's a storefront, if it's a retail store, if it's a coffee shop, or I don't know, something, then I would suggest to learn more. That's probably gonna be your next bet. But 9 out of 10 times is going to be get quote. Click on next. And then this is just a bunch of random stuff, image create, image generation. Don't worry about it. Just go skip and continue. These are the enhancements. I would just turn off all the enhancements. You don't need any of these. These are just really BS. Click on done, and boom, now you have your first ad created. All right. And this side on the right side, this is actually the preview. So this is what it actually looks like. Now, obviously, it's not perfect. You got to tweak it and stuff, make it look fancy, make it look good. But you guys can see where it kind of would look like on Meta's platforms. Okay. And then obviously, destination right here is the instant form. So this is what the instant form would look like. Right. People can select it, whatever, continue, put in their name and all that fun stuff. All right. So that's that. So pretty freaking cool. All right, pretty freaking cool. That's your first campaign. Right now it's in the draft, so then you would just click right here on publish, and then it's gonna start processing. Might take like a couple hours to process, and then boom, published at midnight. Ad is running, it's live, you're good. Lay back, watch the ad do very well, and you're chilling. Right? Very simple. Very, very simple. All right. Now, I'm gonna explain to you guys, and I'm gonna show you guys an actual creator that's actually performing very well for this client. Okay. Right here. This one right here, the middle one. You guys can see since April 11th to May 11th. So January, February, March, April, May, 1 month. Okay. Or we can say, no, this is 2022. We'll say in the last month, 78 leads, maximum in this campaign itself, 127 leads generated. And you guys can see right here the cost per result, cost per lead. It's only $10. Total much ad spend right there, and just all the good metrics. And this is a very high performing campaign. And it's not special at all. Okay. Right now we're at a $40 a day budget. It's an instant form. And the creative itself is very simple. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys the creative because you guys stayed this long into the video. So I'm going to reward you guys with something that I personally like to gatekeep, unfortunately. Okay. But because you watched the video and because you liked and you subbed and you commented on the video, I'm going to show you guys the creative. Okay. This is what it is. My holy grail right here. This is my holy grail. This is my, okay, why is it messed up? This is what my ad is. Your free car detailing quote is only 2 minutes away. Okay? Simple. Amazing. Cool. Right? Big text. I'm highlighting in green, free. I'm underlining the time, 2 minutes. That's it. Simple. People see that. They're like, yeah, man, I want to get a quote. Sick. They click on the button, fill out the form. Boom. Lead generated. Done. Simple. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, man. That is pretty much it. So, yeah, that's all I got for you guys in this video. Now you know what lead gen is. Now you know how to make your first lead gen campaign. And now you can start generating leads, citing clients left and right, front and center, start making money. All right. Very simple. Very cool. But yeah, man, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's all I got for you guys in this video. Drop a like, comment, subscribe. Join the inner circle down in the description of the video. All right. Join my inner circle. I do daily coaching calls. I teach you guys everything I explained in this video, but more in depth. I do giveaways. I bring on special guest speakers, 24/7 support in the Discord. It's amazing. It's great. Everyone loves it. And yeah, I'll see you guys down in the inner circle, down in the description of the video. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the future. Peace out.